It's an everyday thing, it's an everyday thing, it's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
Blockbuster news to tell you about. News that we first broke on this program last night with our man John Solomon. Turns out 250 plainclothes FBI agents were on the ground on January 6th. 250 of them. They were never straight with us. The prior administration, James Comey is the director of the FBI, Christopher Wray, the director of the FBI, Attorney General Garland, they would never give us a straight answer about this. And in many respects, their omission about telling us the truth is the problem. And so now we're learning that in an after-action report, these FBI agents flooded FBI headquarters with anonymous complaints. Those complaints were captured in this after-action report. They read like this, one of them. We were once an apolitical organization, but I no longer see us as such, looking from the ground up. We have been used as pawns in a political war, and FBI leadership fell into the trap and has allowed it to happen. We are supposed to call balls and strikes regardless of political pressure. Now we can't even be trusted on the field. That's one comment. I will tell you, in many respects, it's refreshing to see that inside the FBI, there were those that were pushing back. There were those that were angry about the politicization of the FBI. Here is another comment for you. Again, also damning. It reads, what is even more unacceptable was the hypocrisy displayed by the FBI and its leadership in their attempt to go after those involved in the Capitol riots, while we as agents watched cities burn across America during 2020. Remember, that, of course, was the summer of love. So again, 250 agents, many of them feeling like they were used as political pawns, and leadership from the Attorney General to the FBI refused to acknowledge that there were so many FBI agents on the ground here. Throwback, Thomas Massie questioning Attorney General Merrick Garland.
Oh, last time, you don't know how many there were, or there were none?
I don't know the answer to either of those questions. If there were any, I don't know how many. I don't know whether there are any.
I think you may have just perjured yourself that you don't know that there were any. You want to say that again? That you don't know that there were any?
I have no personal knowledge of this matter. I think what I said the last time.
You've had 2 years to find out.
Now we find out that there was an after-action report that revealed 250 plainclothes officers, 24 confidential informants also in plainclothes. I believe Thomas Massie was right. Attorney General Merrick Garland committed perjury there. There is no way he didn't know how many FBI agents were on the ground, just as James Comey committed perjury when he said he wasn't leaking information or knew about leaked information to the mainstream media. This is Clay Higgins, also a throwback.
Well, to my question being closed, this is a very significant hearing, Mr. Chairman, and these buses are nefarious in nature and were filled with FBI informants dressed as Trump supporters and deployed onto our Capitol on January 6th. Your day is coming, Mr. Wray.
Let's be honest. When has the FBI ever been straight up with us? You know, I think for the FBI to finally come out and say what happened to Kennedy, or say what happened to Martin Luther King Jr., or hey, what the hell, the Epstein files, are we going to ever get the truth out of them? I mean, you can bring them under oath. You can call them out for perjuring themselves. The FBI gonna FBI. They gonna lie to the public about the real things, how they really get information. Do you think they're gonna give up all their secrets? Absolutely not. To say that they are perjuring themselves by lying about the 274, 250 to 274 FBI agents dressed as Trump supporters. One thing you need to ask is, how can 250 of anybody blend in with a group. Why? Because that group is so large of people that stormed the Capitol on January 6th. That's how. Okay? That you have to have 250. That radical domestic terrorist mob stormed the Capitol, causing trauma and chaos, threatened to kill Nancy Pelosi and who was the vice president at that time? He was another weirdo. He was even weirder than J.D. Vance. And him and Trump ain't even friends no more. It's so crazy that you can work next to somebody for 4 years and end up hating them with a passion at the end of 4 years. But anyway, I'm not sure, what to say about this. I've been watching into this and Kash Patel and all his statements about what the FBI knew and what James Comey knew, and that is why Trump is really trying to get James Comey based on the FBI agents who were at January 6th instead of getting the actual people from January 6th. Didn't he pardon all of them? He pardoned most of them. All these people from January 6th, Trump gave them a pardon. So now that the FBI was in there just doing their job, investigating, trying to see what's going on so they have some eyes on the ground. And because they lied about it, which they do about everything. They lie about absolutely everything. They don't lie, they just don't tell you. They just won't tell you. But the FBI should be in situations like this, am I correct? So it's kind of interesting to see how this will play out, that regardless of if they lied or not, they don't want to tell. The FBI never wants to tell the American public what they did and show their hand. It's just a fact. But
we have some major news this morning. Kash Patel, the FBI director, is not just contradicting Donald Trump, but he's walking back online speculation about Republican circles that there were FBI agents at the Capitol participating in January 6th, essentially throwing cold water over that conspiracy theory. Previously, there was a report released by a right-wing reporter suggesting that hundreds of FBI agents were part of the crowd in January 6th. But Kash Patel has now disputed both that report and Donald Trump's claim that undercover bureau agents under former FBI Director Christopher Wray took part in January 6th. He was saying that they were there deployed on a crowd control mission, not anything related to the insurrection, and there was nothing done that amounted to an investigation. This is significant because it splits the narrative displayed by the FBI and by Donald Trump himself. And you know who's not going to be happy about this? The White House. Everyone needs to know that Kash Patel is clarifying this, so spread the word because this is important. Following for all the news you need to know about.
Was President Donald Trump wrong to give blanket clemency to the January 6th defendants?
Thank you, Ranking Member. A couple of things on that. One, the power of the presidential pardon is just that, the president.
Well, I concede he has the authority. I'm asking, was he wrong to do it?
And as we discussed in our private meeting, Senator, I have always rejected any violence against law enforcement, and I have, including in that group, specifically addressed any violence against law enforcement on January 6th, and I do not agree with the commutation of any sentence of any individual who committed violence against law enforcement.
So do you think that America is safer because the 1,600 people have been given an opportunity to come out of serving their sentences and live in our communities again?
Senator, I have not looked at all 1,600 individual cases. I have always advocated for imprisoning those that cause harm to our law enforcement and civilian communities. I also believe America is not safer because President Biden's commutation of a man who murdered 2 FBI agents, Agent Kohler's and Williams' family, deserve better than to have the man that point blank range fired a shotgun into their heads and murdered them released from prison. So it goes both ways.
Wait, how the hell Biden get in this? See, this is, well, he did it. You know, this is like that, I know y'all seen that meme where Spider-Man pointing at himself, and it's like 3 different Spider-Mans, and like each one pointing at a different Spider-Man. Yo, what are we in 3rd grade? Well, I saw him do it, so I think that, and he did it worse. He did it worse than what I did, so he should be in trouble too. Man, y'all get y'all's asses out of here.
Leonard Pelletier was in prison for 45 years. He's 80 years old, and he was sentenced to home confinement. So he's not free, as you might have just suggested.
He killed 2 FBI.
Oh my, the man is 80 years. He's still a threat to society. Man, the man is on an oxygen tank. He got 1 foot in the grave, Patel. What are you talking about? Like, he's on home confinement. He got an ankle monitor. And in any case, where are he going? Bingo? Okay? Come on, man.
Agents.
That's true, he did. And he went to prison for it and should have. My question to you, though, is do you think America is safer because President Trump issued these pardons to 1,600 of these criminal defendants, many of whom violently assaulted our police in the Capitol?
Senator, America will be safe when we don't have 200,000 drug overdoses in 2 years. America will be safe when we don't have 50.
I wanted to do something, but if Kobe Bryant on the basketball court taught Kash Patel how to do the spin move, fade away, jumper, because that was a spin of a lifetime. This boy like boop, boop, fade away, 200,000 drug overdoses scored. Man, who the fuck, what is this dude doing?
These criminal defendants, many of whom violently assaulted our police in the Capitol.
Senator, America will be safe when we don't have 200,000 drug overdoses in 2 years. America will be safe when we don't have 50 homicides in a day.
So you just won't answer the question.
I'm
going to say, I don't think we're safer. Matthew Huddle was sent back to Indiana. I don't think we're safer with Peter Schwartz. I could go through a long list of individuals, some of who were wanted in states, members of this committee. Was President Donald Trump wrong to give?
It should do, and they have to hold people accountable.
Hey, man, so listen. All right, so if you commit a crime, you know, go to jail. It's simple, okay? You do your crime, do your time, okay? But to be pardoned just because you did a crime because the leader of the time told everybody, you know, hey, you know where we need to be on this day at this hour? I think that'll be a great place to settle in, and you know. I never told anyone to storm the Capitol, okay? I just said, you know, if we were to be somewhere all at one time, we could, you know, settle some things peacefully. But regardless of anything, they need to be locked up. Just as an 80-year-old man who shot 2 FBI agents or whoever he shot. Same thing with people who attacked law enforcement agents on the Capitol that day. Lock them up. Okay? Lock them up. Okay? We should all be for that, right? Back to blue. Right? Are we back in the blue? This is the perfect time to ask somebody from the right wing in the chat, do you back the blue? If you back the blue, do you think people who assaulted law enforcement agents on January 6th should be locked up? It's a simple question. It's not that hard. If you back the blue, that means you back to law enforcement agents over the people, right? I mean, I'm going to let y'all hold that.
Accountable. We have to ensure that the rule of law applies to everyone. And that's exactly what's happening here.
Does the rule of law have to apply to people who stormed the Capitol on January 6th?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. There's new information over the last couple of days about that as well. Apparently, there were 274 FBI agents in the crowd on January 6th.
No.
I think the total number of persons
Kash Patel just brought some enhanced understanding to that. They were sent there to do crowd control because of everything that was going on. It wasn't a false flag operation, as President Trump suggested.
Well, the entire crowd was not just people attacking the Capitol. It was FBI agents in there, okay? What the fuck? Y'all can't make this up. Are we putting America first? Back to blue, okay? Blue line, American flag, blue line. Remember that blue line? Back to blue. Come on, man. Y'all can't be making this stuff up. Are we? Look at the spin. There's 250. He got the Kobe spin. Matter of fact, he did a Vince Carter 360 windmill dunk in the dunk contest spin. Okay, look at this. I know basketball, so maybe if my basketball analogies is going over your head, just don't even act like you know it. Act like you know what I'm talking about. Okay.
Just brought some enhanced understanding to that. They were sent there to do crowd control because of everything that was going on. It wasn't
that up. There's new information.
Stormed the Capitol on January.
What's happening here? Accountable. We have to ensure that the rule of law applies to everyone. And that's exactly what's happening here.
Does the rule of law have to apply to people who stormed the Capitol on January 6th?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. There's new information over the last couple of days about that as well. Apparently, there were 274 FBI agents in the crowd on January 6th.
No.
I think the total number of persons
Kash Patel just brought some enhanced understanding to that. They were sent there to do crowd control because of everything that was going on. It wasn't a false flag operation, as President Trump suggested.
Well, Jake, wait a minute. Hold on, Jake. How do you know?
I want y'all to understand this. Jake says, oh no, Mike Johnson says, we have to ensure that the rule of law applies to everyone. Does the rule of law apply? This is what Tapper says. Does the rule of law apply to people who stormed the Capitol on January 6th? Well, apparently, there were 274 FBI agents in the crowd. Bro, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Not a damn thing. Bro, man. So what is this argument about? Why are we attacking James Comey and indicting him for lying about what the FBI was doing at a freaking insurrection?
That, right? There's a lot of brand new questions about, well, and I'm telling you that there's videos and it's always been disputed what involvement some of those persons, engaged in, what involvement they had. Did they spur on the crowd? Did they open the gates to allow them in? I don't know. These are questions, but they should be answered. And yes, there's a lot of investigation and discovery to go forward. We have a select subcommittee.
So now the FBI opened the gates for people to storm the Capitol. So now the FBI is involved with planning and going through with the January 6th insurrection. That sounds like a scapegoat. Are you trying to use the FBI as people who actively try to overthrow the government? This is deep. This is deeper than
Bipartisan a committee that is reviewing the investigation of the original J6 committee. I mean, a committee investigating the previous committee. Why? Because there was so much bias in the system. And that committee was rigged, I think. And I think my theory is, I've always believed that they got rid of evidence and they hid some of this. So all of it's going to come out. The American people deserve full transparency.
Full transparency,
and that's what
100%.
Congress is working on, and that's what the administration is working on.
I'm always in favor of full transparency, including for
Okay, someone said, why would you send 274 people to do crowd control on over 1,600 people? Great question. Sounds freaking dumb, doesn't it? Like 274 people can, stop, plain clothed people in Trump supporter garb, like they're, dressed to impress Trump, and they go to do crowd control. That doesn't make it sounds like a lie. They wasn't there for crowd control. They was there to get an insight on the ground of what's going on. So whether they use crowd control or they use, maybe he just said something like he was just saying the first thing on his mind. Crowd control. No, because just in case there was somebody there with heavy artillery to really assassinate somebody, I think that's why they was there. Now, mind you, there was one death on Capitol Hill that day. It was a lady, and I want to say rest in peace to this lady, because she didn't have to lose her life. But that one shot made everybody sit the hell back. Cause they busted that window, and you seen them bust that window, and she wanted to be the first person in, and point blank range, she headbutted a bullet, and that didn't go over well. But I just want to say that there could have been mass casualties that day. And luckily, none of you Second Amendment, far right winger people didn't go up there armed, strapped, and ready, because those 274 FBI agents would have had to call in backup, and that wouldn't have been pretty. That wouldn't have been pretty at all. So I'm just saying, tough situation, but we all know what happened on January 6th. We watched it. We watched it in living color. The lady shouldn't have lost her life. She shouldn't have tried to storm that building either. But once they breached the building, and I know the person who shot the lady, I think she might have gotten a little trouble for that, because they weren't supposed to shoot nobody. The people were unarmed. We don't know if they meant harm. Nobody was harmed. The way they stormed the Capitol, a lot of the Congress people were, backdoored out of there. But there were some rooms that they didn't get to, that probably saved lives of some of the senators. But either way, it was a bad situation. And whether or not there's 274 FBI agents there, and the previous FBI director lied about it, or whether they told the truth, the fact of the matter is the FBI has to be at certain places when there's a threat. That's their job. Their job is to secure our land. Their job is to investigate any suspicious activities on a federal level. So, of course, they knew this was happening. You think the FBI said, well, they're planning an insurrection on January 6th. I think we should let this one play out. Let's sit back. Let's wait and see if anything happens. Let's just wait and see if anything happens. If nothing happens, then we're good. But if something happens, I think we need to figure it out right then. Let's just wait. No, stupid. The FBI is like, oh, well, if they plan on doing an insurrection, we need to have people in there to see what's going on the ground. If these people have weapons, if they're planning on pipe bombing anything, you have to be closer to the people. You can't be standing afar being like, you know what? I know it's going down, but you know, maybe we shouldn't do it. It's the FBI. Come on, man. Less than 2% of the crowd. Y'all gotta be serious, man. That's how we're gonna end it, man. Off the lies of, you know, just trying to spin the block. They trying to I can't spin like, ooh. I can't spin. I'm gonna knock my green screen down. But if I could, I'd do just like them. Maybe I should start spinning. If I spin narratives here, when somebody say something, I'll be like, you know what? I won't even be truthful about what black people do in black communities. I'm gonna just lie and be like, nope, we don't do that. There hasn't been one gang violence. There hasn't been one gang shooting in Oklahoma in about 20 years. Black people don't gang bang. Have you seen what happened in so-and-so school where in Moore, Oklahoma, where that white guy ran over 4 kids because his kid was killed by a drunk driver a week before? Do you remember that? Was that dangerous? Like, just ignoring the fact that, you know, there's gang violence in our neighborhood every day. But, you know, if you spin a joke, if you tell them, well, y'all out here committing crime, so why would you think there wouldn't be crime over here? And that crime is just as bad. So let's talk about that crime. Let's not talk about this one that my people do. Let's talk about your people. That's so dumb. But yeah, the FBI was out there looking for black protesters. I don't see none. I think we should go now. I think they're all white, so I think it'll be safe. Let's just hold back, everyone. Shit. Hold back, everyone. White people. Oh, boy. You know how many police was at the George Floyd marches? Like, it was so many police there. I didn't want to be there. I was like, somebody going to jail today. Shit, I ain't going to do this. We walking a mile and then going home. All right, I'll see y'all that mile. Where to end at, so I can see if everybody going. You know what I'm saying? I watched that stuff. Then we didn't even riot down here. Like I think there was one riot. But that wasn't us. That wasn't black people. We wasn't even on the black side of town. It was a mixture. It was a mixture of everybody, but it wasn't just black people. Like, man, shit. We was trying to tell people, hey man, don't do that dumb shit. Don't go down there messing people's business up like that. Why you gonna mess up their business? They ain't did the shit. They ain't even from Minnesota. Like, we over here tearing shit up for George Floyd, but we got people dying actively in our own city, and we ain't even. Man, is that an eyelash? I gotta get on these people. I got daughters with eyelashes and shit everywhere. I'm like, I had that eyelash blowing. It probably blew under the door and came into her on my floor. Yeah, I thought it was a fly or something, a bug on the ground. Like, what the fuck is that? A goddamn eyelash. Y'all's eyelashes be having they blowing around the house like tumbleweeds and shit.